our candle and something to sip on. Yeah, there. Okay, looks like we're all beautiful. I see we're all here now. So I'm going to ring the bell. Beautiful. It's so nice to see you all. And to welcome you. I'm really, even though it's late at night and I'm being all peaceful and meditative, the truth is I'm very excited to be here with all of you. I really am. And this is so fun for me. And we're going to get to know each other really well. And tonight is this activation ceremony, right? To welcome you, to open up this journey we're about to embark on together, to consciously choose our path. And as I just settle in and feel my breath and connect with all of you, I feel this sense of like my heart is flittering, but also it feels like it's time to simultaneously deepen and root down and be stable. And it's also time to rise up, right? It's time to you to rise, for me to rise, together for us to rise up. Like it feels like I can just lift up to the light and to tap into these senses that we're feeling. Like there's a lot going on, but in your clearest moments, I bet you can feel it too. There's something inside you stirring, and that's like calling you, beckoning you. And so that's what we're going to tap into, that whatever's calling you or beckoning into. And so my intention and the purpose of this entire journey is to awaken that, to awaken what's calling you, and also to just peel away the layers so that we can awaken to our true nature. And in this next 9 weeks, we're going to go through so many tools and practices to support that, but really to go into what's in season. We're going to go throughout the seasons. We're going to be in the winter and then into the spring. And then that changes, and what's in season for us evolves as the seasons evolve. And so we're going to stay connected to what's in season, what's alive for you right now. And so that we can tap into that and then manifest and create our deepest desires and follow that impulse in our heart, and to follow those desires to open up our pathways. And so I would like to begin by having an opening centering meditation. And opening, this is a beautiful container, and yet this is also an alchemical container. In an alchemical container, things shift and things change and things catalyze much more quickly and much more potently. And so what makes this so potent, and what makes this so special, and what makes this a practice really, is that we shift our awareness from wherever it has been to bringing it back to this present moment. We're going to continuously shift our awareness, because the power that we need to self-actualize and to co-create and to tap in with the divine and to create the world and to connect with the formless realms and bring that into form, that sort of power that's generated by bringing our awareness and shifting our orientation into alignment with our deeper, wider center. And this is an alchemical container, right? So a little bit about alchemy is alchemy needs three things. And alchemy needs a container, and we're going to develop this container. That's what we're going to do tonight. We're all going to bring our voices in to create this container. And then alchemy needs ingredients. And then throughout our journey together, we're going to put a bunch of ingredients in. We're going to put our limiting beliefs, our hidden blocks, our shadow. We're going to put our love. We're going to put ourselves in. We're the ingredients, right? And then it needs energy. And it can be energy in form of friction by facing your shadows. It can be energy in the form of just the love that we put, and energy in the form of light. And so we're going to create this alchemical container tonight with all those things. And I ask that we bring ourselves really present and bring all of our attention forward, because this container has to hold the intensity. It has to be strong enough to take the heat. It has to ultimately hold us so that we can liberate ourselves, right? So it's not just in theory, it has to actually have density to it. So I'm asking that you'll join and we'll co-create this field together right now, and we'll start right now in this co-creative. It's an expanding, it's a really embodied practice when we open up this container. So start some music. And I ask that we drop in. And I invite you to put everything aside. You've already been fairly present. I just invite you to clear any other thing that's in your mind and in your space. And bring your full awareness to your breath. And connect with yourself and your body. Feel the seat that's holding you. And extending this awareness into the center of your body, and now radiating outward to the edges of the room. And tapping into the energy that you have, and just sensing and feeling what it feels like. And then I invite you to open your eyes and imagine that you're extending your energy around this circle, around the women in this circle. And you can see yourself like looking at the screen. I know it's dark, but you can still sense and feel everyone here, right? And as you're breathing, connecting with your body, and then you're extending this energy, connecting with these women in the circle. And breathing in, receiving their awareness and their attention, and then breathing out and giving them yours, right? And then start to make a movement with your body where you can sense and feel that you are giving and receiving this energy with each other. Yeah, you can start to feel you, right? And then when you feel each other, smile. And then just right there we go. Yeah, you can feel that. See, we're already creating a powerful container. And so now we're going to anchor into this connection, and then bring it into you, and then just extend it a little bit further. This is beautiful. Feel it washing over you. You're simultaneously holding and being held. Beautiful, dynamic. Okay. So now, taking a nice deep breath and letting this come wash into you, and letting ourselves turn inward. Feeling your attention now turning inward inside yourself, and closing your eyes, softening your breath, dropping deep into your body. And so together we're going to shift from ordinary awareness into extraordinary awareness. And with your breath, dropping your awareness down to the center of your body, down into your hips, down into your legs, down into the soles of your feet, through the floor and into the earth. And I invite you to connect to a place in your life where you feel really creative and talented, where you feel powerful, where you feel like yourself when you're at your best. And breathing deeply and connecting with who you are when you are loving courageously, when you are able to extend love and empathy and care to a complete stranger. And you can extend that love and empathy and care to those in your family and in your life. And then you can extend that love and empathy and care, and you can turn it toward yourself. And you can turn your gifts and your energy and your love and your power toward yourself. Breathing that in, and then extending your awareness outward to the edges of the room. And stepping into a time when you felt really connected to a higher power, to divinity and grace. And you felt the presence of an intelligence of the universe and the cosmos that's way bigger than you could have imagined. You were in awe and the splendor of knowing that's inside of you and that's outside of you, and it's always with you, and it's loving you and protecting you and providing you. It's providing you with this expansion and this awareness. Breathing into that. And finally, again, extending outward to the edges of the room, and then outward to the edges of this circle and to the container that we're creating. And with your awareness, you're starting to slowly open your eyes, and everyone else is opening their eyes. And we are meeting each other again in this circle. And we're remembering a time when you felt seen and you felt safe, when you felt held and supported by others, and you knew that you were not alone. And in this moment right now, you can already sense and feel that you're connected to a field of support, that you're connected with yourself, you're connected with the divinity, and you're connected with each other. And knowing that right here, right now, we have everything that we need. Everything that we need to awaken. We have everything we need to activate our potentials, to remember our true nature, and to cleanse, and to step into our wholeness as our divine human self, filled with power, with the capacity to manifest a life that outwardly reflects your inner desires. And so now imagine that you can feel yourself stepping into the circle. Like you can feel your right foot, and then you can feel your left foot as you're stepping up and you're stepping in to the circle. And now we're seeing eye to eye, we're heart to heart, we're womb to womb. We can hold hands, we're locking hands. And we're also creating enough space that we have full range of motion, full range to be fully ourselves. And there's enough space for all the women that are here, right? And knowing that our presence is powerful in this container, and that it's because we're fully present that this container is now safe and this container is activated. And so together we say, yes, yes. And we say, thank you, thank you. And so it shall be. So it shall be. Amen. Aho, ashe. Welcome. Mm, mm, beautiful. Mm, 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 mm. Beautiful. Oh, it feels good. So I would like us to stitch in and introduce ourselves. My son is letting me know he's going off to his friend's house. That's what that ding is. He wants you to know that he's going with his friends off to go get some food. And so now we can support them too. See how cool that is? We're so powerful. We can support each other's and each other's family. Yeah. So let's stitch in. And so I know Danny's really familiar with this because I learned how to do this with Danny. And so when we're going to stitch in, generally, like when we get a little further in to this, we'll stitch in and just simply say what we're bringing to the circle. But since we're just meeting each other, let's go a little deeper and let's just hear, who you are and maybe tell us where you're coming from. And then what's exciting to you or what you're curious about, what you're bringing into this circle. And so just to model it, I'll stitch in and I'll light my candle. And so dropping in as you light your candle, and like this candle represents your light. Remember, alchemy needs light, it needs heat, it needs energy. So I'm lighting this candle, and you all know me, but I'm Maria, and I'm in Fayetteville, Arkansas. And what I'm most excited about is getting to know all of you and to like be in this container and to see what unfolds, like where we go with this, to see what unfolds. So what I'm bringing is curiosity and excitement and energy. Mm. And then we can just popcorn in whenever you feel like it's your turn. You just step forward and share your light with us.
Hello, everyone. My name is Danny, and I would like to stitch in with my candle. I am currently in Las Vegas, but originally from Australia. And I'm excited to be in circle again with Maria. I'm excited to be in circle with new friends. And I'm really, when you haven't sat in circle for a while, it's just so, it's like riding a bike. I feel like literally while Maria was talking that it's flooding back the way that I want to be I want my outside to reflect my insides, and I'm just super excited about the journey, and it's so lovely to meet you.
Welcome, Danny. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. I'm Julie, and I'm from Fayetteville, Arkansas. And I'm bringing creative energy to the circle.
Creative energy.
Yeah.
That's an alchemist right there.
Hi, I'm Daisy. I'm originally from China. Right now, I'm in San Diego, California. I'm stitching in curiosity, magic, inner mystery, and so much more I want to dig in. So I'll just be an empty container. I want to feel so much excitement every moment. I love you all.
Welcome, mystery and magic and empty container. Beautiful.
My name is Taylor, and I'm from Canada. And I would like to stitch in authenticity, love, intrigue, and admiration.
Beautiful. Authenticity, love, intrigue, and adoration. Beautiful. Thank you. So we're all here. We're going to get to know each other so much more than this. Tonight, we're going to be doing this activating this. We're going to tap into setting a powerful intention tonight. And this is sacred holy work. So let's anoint ourselves. So if you have an oil, just go ahead and activate your bottle and your hands. Open it and smell. Savor the aroma. I'm anointing myself with rose oil. If you want to share your oil in the chat, you can. Breathing that in. Breathing that blessing in, anointing your crown and your third eye, your auric field, your throat, your heart, your breast, your solar plexus, your lower dantian, your womb space, your yoni, your feet, and then any place that needs that extra love. Your body is a vessel, is a temple. And we're going to connect with your body all throughout this journey to ask it for its wisdom. And she'll tell you. We just have to learn to listen and understand her language. And so I want to start. There's really so much to do tonight, so I feel like I'm going to kind of just go really quickly. That I want to start by honoring my teachers, right? The lineage. And because what we're going to go through is a specific process that I've learned through some of my teachers. And one of my teachers I'd love to start with is my mentor, midwife, Teresa Elder. She is one of the most jolly people I've ever met. So she taught me to be a midwife, and she taught me to be lighthearted and find humor. And then my mentor, Claire Zammit, is who taught this feminine power framework. And so the vast majority of what you're going to learn throughout our time together came from her. So I'm going to honor her. And then Elaine Kalila from the Priestess Presence Temple, she really taught me how to walk as a modern day priestess and how to be a temple guide and to hold sacred spaces. And then I have so many beloved Tai Chi and Qigong teachers from YMAA that are all over the world, and they taught me the art of Qigong and medical Qigong as a healing medicine. And so I bow to each one of them. And knowing, this is a lifetime curriculum, right? And this is a process that I am continuing to go through, and I'm just sharing it with you as I'm going through it, right? And over this next 9 weeks, so tonight, it's 10 weeks total, but 9 weeks, what we're going to go through is continuously, I'm going to keep inviting you to find what's in season and continuously to shift our awareness and to bring into focus that one specific area that's really alive for you, so that we can go into that area and create a breakthrough. And that is going to create a catalyst, and that's going to create a chain reaction in the other areas of our life. And in Qigong, we say where your mind goes is where your Qi goes. It's where the energy goes. And when you have a focused mind, you have a relaxed body, and you have really powerful Qi. And so over these next 9 weeks that we're together, you might find yourself, you might be starting to focus on deepening your love with yourself, or within your spiritual practice, or manifesting a lover, or deepening intimacy with your current lover, discovering your life's purpose, or shifting your health and your vitality, up-leveling your prosperity. You're going to be working with something like that in those realms. And we're working in this transformational realm, and really we're reaching into the formless, into the field, the quantum field, something that we can sense and feel, although we can't yet see it. There might not even really be fully evidence of it yet, but we can sense it, and we're reaching into that quantum field, and that's where we're connecting, and then we're going to pull it into manifest form, and then we're going to ground it down into really practical magic, right? And really practical day to day. And so it starts to become something specific and something tangible that you can touch, taste, feel, and hold, right? So that's what we're up to, right? And so, so I want to also, like I thank my teachers, I want to thank you, right? I want to thank you because it's really honor and privilege to be here. I couldn't be here if it wasn't for you. And it's like you're bringing out the midwife in me, the person that I used to help women have babies, right? And now I get to be with you, and you're going to birth something, but I don't know what baby it's going to be. Is it going to be a lover? Is it going to be a business? Is it going to be self-care? Is it spirituality? I don't know. And so that's what I'm really excited about. And so I want to really appreciate you for that. And I thank you for letting me be a guardian and a guide in this transition. And we're going to navigate into the unknown, right? And so I value your trust and your time. And I also want to acknowledge and appreciate that you're already very powerful women. You already have life experience and expertise and accomplishments, and you're already a powerful creator. I mean, there's so many things in your life that reflect this. Even if you don't see it right now, that like it's there, and you just might not recognize all the ways and all the things you've like really brought something amazing into this world. But I want to acknowledge that you've done that. And I also want to just sense and know and reflect that I'm going to learn so much from you, like from each one of you in this circle. And I really want to welcome you. When you come into this circle, we're bringing in your expertise, you're bringing in your brilliance, you're bringing in your power and your imperfections and your vulnerabilities and what's real for you, right? And I just want you to know that whether you've been in circle for a long time and you're like really experienced with transformation, or this is brand new, you're in the right place. And whether you're like super excited and you already feel empowered and you already feel like you're on the track, you know where you're going, or you're like, I'm not quite sure what's happening yet, what's possible, right? You're right, you're in the right spot. And I also want to say something that I think is really important, is that remember this journey that we're on, it's super important for you. It's a journey of awakening, you know, but it's not really just stopping at you. It's bigger, it's way bigger than you, because your potentials, it matters to you, but it also really matters to the other people in your life that you're here to empower, that you're here to serve, that you're here to catalyze, that you're here to love, right? So it's about them. But we're going to focus on us, and that's going to be a chain reaction, and it's going to ripple out to them. Okay? And so, throughout this journey, you're going to be guided through a bunch of feminine power tools and practices and a bunch of Qigong tools and practices, right? But it might be really helpful to think of them as like practicing yoga or practicing yoga poses or asanas, in that we're all practicing together. We're all doing the same movements, even though some person, when they go under the yoga mat and they're like masters and they're super flexible and stand on their head, and then there's some of us that can barely touch our toes, we're still doing the same movements together. We're doing the same practice, and we're always taking it to our growth edge and to our growth, our next level. And so as we go through this process and we're manifesting our heart's desires, we're going to focus on something, like I said, very specific and tangible. But I think it's really more important is that what you're learning is how to manifest from this feminine power system, so that you can just keep doing it again and again and again. And tonight, what we're doing is, we're activating. So we're taking our first steps. We're activating our container. And then we're also going to start to explore the 8 key areas of self-actualization. And we're going to just see what's the most alive for you. And then whatever one's the most alive for you, then you can set an intention around that. And then when you set your intention around that, then we can start to focus and ground. And then that'll carry us through our journey. And I just want to pause, because you're going to hear me say the word destiny a lot. And destiny is an interesting word. You're going to hear me say destiny intention, destiny pathway, destiny. But what does that really mean? And then I'll interchange it sometimes with the word seed, destiny and seed. I notice I change those two words a lot. So think of destiny like a seed. Think of it like the acorn that grows into the oak tree, or the rose hip that grows into the rose, right? So it's within that seed has all the potential for its fullest expression. So that's when I'm saying your destiny intention, we're like setting an intention to support you to grow into your fullest intention, your fullest expression of all the potentials that you hold already inside of you. And so, just like a seed, though, you have to plant it at the right season. So in Arkansas, in the winter, it would be really pointless for me to be planting watermelon. Maybe in Las Vegas, maybe in San Diego, I could pull off some watermelon. I doubt I could do it in Canada either. But right, it's pretty soon I can start my little winter green sprouts, right? And that's in season, and I'll have success because those are destiny seeds planted in the right season. But in summertime in Arkansas, I should not be planting iceberg lettuce. It won't work. I'll be really frustrated, right? And so it's that same principle. And so what I want to start to deepen into, we understand what destiny is, and we understand what seeds are, and we understand what this alchemical container, we started to sense and feel it. And what these seeds are going to do is they're going to, like I said, they're going to grow and they're going to activate. So we're going to think of one area of our life that's alive. And then by touching that one area, it'll open up to all other areas. And that's why we want to be in a container like this. Because when we're in a container like this, we cultivate the conditions. It's like the garden bed, right? And what else is so important about an energetic container like this is that the other people in your life, they love you, right? They're your family, they're your friends, they've known you for a really long time. They know you for who you are right now. And they know you for who you've been. But they can't sense and feel or fully know who you're becoming, because they have this reference point of who you've always been to them in the past. And something inside of you is emerging and changing and evolving, and you don't have the words for it. It's unprecedented. So you can't even let them know who you're becoming, but you're transforming to your fullest expression. And they might not recognize that, so they don't know how to support you. It's out of their reference point. But that's why we come into places like this, in containers like this, where you're with women that can see who you're becoming, that can reflect back to you, and that can honor your evolutionary process, right? And so in order for this to actually be a safe container, beyond just saying words, saying that it's safe, we create sacred agreements. And these sacred agreements will help really fortify, like as if it was a temple, these would be the pillars that hold up the temple. These are the four walls that hold up the room so that you feel secure in them. So I'm going to have a sip and we'll go through these sacred agreements. There's 7 of them. And I'm going to kind of go through them quickly just so you can get a sense and feel how powerful they are. And I'm going to say them from the first person as if I am speaking, that I am agreeing. All right. So the first agreement is I agree to my sovereignty by committing to put myself and my empowerment first. I commit to keeping my first attention on myself and my own experience of transformation. And without shrinking my other responsibilities, I commit to be 100% responsible for my own experience, my own well-being throughout this entire journey. And I also commit to refrain from caretaking or being overly responsible for other participants, trusting that in their own process, they have their own process and their own power, that they can generate their own resources and their own solutions. And I also commit to refrain from giving advice or offering opinions to any other person's aspect of what they're sharing unless they ask me specifically. Okay, so if we can agree to that, we say yes, yay. Good, right. So I commit to sharing from power and possibility so that I can elevate the energy. Because I recognize that I'm already a powerful woman. And I have access to wisdom, and I have gifts, and I have inner resources, and I have outer resources. And I commit to making every effort to show up in the group in ways that are aligned with the story of myself as powerful. And at the same time, I make room for my own vulnerabilities and imperfections. And by doing this, I disrupt the old story, the old narrative of powerlessness, victimization, and hopelessness. Right? And while I do that, then when I amplify new stories, and I ignite and I energize myself, and I uplift other people through my example. Okay, yes, uplift other people. Old stories are out. So I commit to celebrate and mirror and amplify the brilliance and power of the other women. So as I'm writing this new story, we're writing a new story of sisterhood, knowing that when I become more powerful, when I write a new story of sisterhood, I become more powerful by doing so. And also, what happens is we are creating a culture where all the women in the circle can rise up, right? And I'm committed to releasing the old patterns of competition, of comparison, of codependence. And when they emerge, I want to see them, and I'm going to put them in this pot to be alchemicalized and transformed. Because really, there is no competition. If the game we're playing is to become our true selves, there's no competition in that. Only Maria can be Maria, only Danny can be Danny, only Taylor can be Taylor, only Julie can be Julie, and Daisy can only be Daisy, right? So I recognize that none of us can become ourselves without ourselves. And so I'm reflecting back the greatness that I see in others, and I extend and I support them. So yes, yes, yes. I commit to be generative and growth-minded and solution-oriented. And so when I have a breakdown in my life and challenges in my life, and I'll have challenges in this circle, I commit to being creative and meeting them in resourceful ways. And I commit to using everything that happens in my life. Life is an initiation. And I see this as an opportunity to deepen into even deeper, greater levels of self-awareness. And all of this is in service to my intention, to my evolution, and to my empowerment. Yes, yes, yes. Beautiful. Okay, I commit to empty presence and speaking from the womb of silence. I am willing to not know everything with my mind. I'm willing to remain in emptiness and to be present in the moment, to access truth directly through my body and directly through my womb and directly through my heart. And speaking from the womb of silence, I am willing to allow my mind to quiet so that the voice of my womb mind and the voice of my heart mind can be heard, so it can be spoken. And I'm willing to feel and to hear and to listen to the differences between these voices. Yes, dropping into empty presence and to not know. Okay, I agree to keeping confidence and respecting everyone here, and I honor confidentiality and I guard privacy and the vulnerability of those who share, and I commit to relating to others only in ways that build respect, trust, and appreciation, sharing only my experience, and I'm not going to share or repeat anything that anyone else has shared. Yes, I agree to confidentiality. And the final one here is I agree to going the distance. I agree to going the distance with my transformational process and with my own process and with each other. I know that I will receive more from this experience. The more that I put into it is the more that I'll receive. And so that I know that my presence is so deeply required. And I anticipate there will be moments that I want to quit. There will be moments that I don't want to show up. And the more presence I bring into this sanctuary, the more powerful and transformative my experience will be, as well as the experience of others. So yes. So my loves, I feel you. This is a very deep and sacred and profound opportunity that we get to come together as a group. And we're a bunch of extraordinary women, and together we're going to create something really beautiful. And I can really feel this chrysalis forming, and I'm curious if you can feel like how those agreements just bring another layer, another firmness to the solidity of what we're creating together. Okay. So we're about to set our destiny intention. The thing is, there are a couple of important things to do before that, right? We want to get there, but there are a couple of things we have to do. We have to till the soil, we got to prepare the bed. We're cultivating conditions, right? So, what I want to say here is when we're going to set this intention, it's important that that every step of the way, all throughout our 9 weeks, we have to remember that everything we're doing is to activate and is to ignite and is to cultivate the conditions for our potentials. So it's so important that we shift our awareness again, one more time, to bring our awareness to these 3 mindset shifts. Because when we bring our awareness to these 3 mindset shifts, it's going to help us, lack of a better word, preempt some mistakes. It's not that they're mistakes, but it's like planting watermelon in the winter or iceberg lettuce in the summer. It's just not effective. It's not that you made a mistake, it's just not very efficient, right? And so we want to preempt those, and we want to align in our power. And so these mindset shifts are really essential. And what I want to say here is that I haven't mentioned yet, just kind of a little side note, you have a learning portal that I'm excited about. And I've been creating content for your learning portal. And I go into much more depth about these mindset shifts, but I'm going to just touch them here, right? So you can really deepen into them throughout the week. So the first mindset shift is a shift away from waiting to see before you commit. And the shift is shifting away from waiting to see before you commit to showing up and believing in yourself. And because there's a way that we're all holding back a little, right? We're holding back because the things that we most deeply desire to create and the things that we're yearning for that are pulling us now, they're not in our history, right? They're not in our past. So that means they're outside of our reference points. So it's normal to have a little bit of doubt that you can actually manifest your dreams. It's normal to have a little skepticism, right? And so we hold back and we're waiting, and we might say things like, well, I don't really want to invest too much time, or I don't want to invest too much just in case it doesn't happen. But what does that create? I mean, what does the holding back and the non-investment actually create? Well, what it creates is evidence that it's not possible. So the first shift that we're going to make is to absolutely believe in yourself and to absolutely believe that life is organizing around your success. And so that's a little bit hard to just absolutely believe in ourselves. So we're in the process of that. But we can imagine, what if? We can imagine if, for example, if you absolutely believed in yourself, if you absolutely believed it was possible, how would you show up in your life? How would you show up in your relationships? How would you show up at work? How would you show up here? With what level of willingness to be open-hearted, to learn, to risk, to grow, if you absolutely believed in yourself? So that's the first little mindset shift. Act as if. And the second shift is waiting for external circumstances to line up, and then really seeing that the path of manifestation is a path of growth, right? Because what's really true, it is really true that these possibilities that you sense and feel and that you're excited about, they're real. That's why you're excited about it. That's why you're here. However, just because there are potentials, it does not mean it will automatically happen without you going through the process. I can have a packet of seeds all day. I have packets of seeds in this bag over here from 10 years ago. They're still sitting in the bag. They've never grown into anything, right? Because I didn't cultivate the conditions for those seeds to grow, right? So when we're cultivating the conditions for our feminine power, we have to be willing to get outside of our comfort zone. We have to be willing to grow ourselves, right? And so self-actualization, and when we're trying to manifest our soulmate or deepen our relationships, or we want to write our book, or want to have a thriving business, or create some gorgeous work in the world, that type of self-actualization, it's a little bit more like winning a gold medal at the Olympics. I mean, in the terms of human population, no one ever just woke up and won a gold medal because it was in their potential and in their destiny to be a gold medalist. No one ever just woke up one day and was like, oh, I was just out on my morning jog and I was just jogging down the street and then I saw there was a race and then I ran the race and then I won a gold medal, right? It just doesn't work that way. So the second shift is that, yes, your potentials are real. And you need to grow yourself and expand yourself and develop yourself, right? So I invite you to take a moment here and actually give up waiting for your destiny to happen and make the commitment to grow yourself and really to take imperfect action and to show up again and again. And then the final mindset shift is, if not now, then when? Because there are going to be all kinds of things that are going to show up in these next 9 weeks. And they're probably already showing up now. And actually, I know for some of you, there's a lot that's showing up now and that you have showed up in spite of that. And so I'm just really celebrating you right now. Because it's going to keep going. You're going to be busy at work. You're not going to feel well. You're going to get sick. You're going to have commitments. Your kids are going to need something. Your partner is going to go through something. And this is not an opportunity to neglect your responsibilities or to neglect what really needs to be tended to. And yet it's an opportunity to prioritize yourself. And this isn't selfish. The world needs you at your best. And there's just another thing to mention here that's really important about the vulnerability. When we go into our potentials and we start to try to reach higher, and you're reaching higher and you set an intention, and then life is an initiation and the universe starts to test you, and the moment you reach out there, the universe tests you, and then you're like, whoa, I don't know, maybe it's not meant to be. And this vulnerability only really shows up in like areas of self-actualization or self-empowerment. It doesn't show up in other areas. Let me give you an example. So like, this is what I'm trying to say. You're out there on the internet and you're shopping and you're looking for shoes online, and you go to Zappos, you buy some shoes online, and then Zappos sends you the wrong shoe size, right? When Zappos sends you the wrong shoe size, you don't suddenly go, oh, that means I shouldn't walk. Whoa, man, I don't even think I should walk anymore. I got the wrong shoe size. Instead, you just contact customer service, you reach out, you find a solution to your problem. However, in the self-empowerment realm, it's a lot different. We're so much more vulnerable. We make it mean things that aren't necessarily real. So you put your intention out there for love. Maybe someone has, oh, I'm going to find this new partner. And then you go out on a date with someone that might not be your perfect resonant match. And then all of a sudden we're telling ourselves, shoot, I'm unlovable. I'm not made for this love thing. I don't think I can ever find a partner. Right? Or you're like going to deepen into your purpose, and then you start having all these things show up and you can't make it live, and then you can't get on the online portal, and the handout didn't work out, and so then I guess it just wasn't meant to be. And it's real easy to go into that. It's real easy, especially when you're vulnerable and you're extending yourself and touching something that requires faith, right? And so it's real normal and it's usual what we would tend to do is to shrink and to isolate and drop out and quit. But instead, we're not going to do that. We're going to reach up. We're going to go the other direction. We're going to reach out for support when something comes up. We're going to reconnect with each other when something comes up. Resume. We're going to commit to being unstoppable, right? So I just invite you to make that commitment to yourself, committing to becoming unstoppable, knowing that the ideal time and the circumstances will likely never come. And that it's time to shift into make this your priority, because your life matters, your potentials matter. And so let's just take a moment and just breathe and just preempt some ways and just think about, okay, in the past, I've put myself out there, I've made some commitments, I wasn't able to follow through. ooh, what kind of support could I call in now? Right? How do I need to create some sacred space and some safe space, or adjust my schedule, or what do I need to do so that I can be consistent right now, so I can be supported and I can stay in alignment with what's real for me. Breathing into that and shifting and seeing what's opening up, and seeing what energy is starting to move, what's new, what's possible here. I want us to just sense and feel into that. And I'm going to go through this next piece, and then we're going to do some Qigong, and we can weave our voices in and kind of shift. But let's just stay here because we're here. Okay. Like I said, there's no mistakes, right? There's no wrong way to do this, right? However, in the level of self-actualization, we really want to focus on one, maybe just two areas of our life. And as we're self-actualizing, of course, we want to like be fulfilled in all the areas, but that's not how this works, right? We have a deep yearning to be proficient in all these areas, but this isn't a linear process, right? And so this isn't a linear process. And like when we're comparing goal setting and a masculine power system, we're all pretty familiar with that and we're good at that. The masculine power system is compartmentalized. First, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to get this result. But self-mastery and self-actualization is completely different. So when we create and ignite one potential in one area, it's a domino effect to all the other areas. That's why we want to find that one thing that's most alive. And so here's an example of how this process could work. You might have a goal, right, for a relationship. And then you go through this process, and then you start to discover, wow, the area that's most in season for me, that's most alive for me right now, isn't really relationships. It's my sense of purpose. It's my sense of contribution. So rather than seeking a partner, you're going with it, trust in the process, and you start to deepen into your sense of purpose. And then through the process, you end up finding a life partner, right? Another example could be you have your goal and you're going to start to focus on your prosperity and your wealth. And you're going through this process and you start to discover, oh, wow, it's my health that really needs my attention right now. And so as you deepen into your health, then your vitality starts to improve, and then you start to have more energy, and then you start to able to generate more prosperity and wealth in all forms, and then wealth in all forms just start to flow to you and through you because you're healthier, right? So this is how self-actualization works, right? And so, like I said, there's no wrong ways, but there are some ways that we can stifle and be sabotaged. And so I want to preempt them and just weave them in. And again, in the learning portal, I go deeper in. I'm just going to touch these right now. So one of the quote unquote mistakes or things we can do is that gets in our way. I've already kind of mentioned it, is we focus on too many things at once, right? What happens is we're trying to do all the things at once, and then we can't get any traction, right? Because we're spread too thin, and we fear that if I let go of focusing on all of it, none of it will happen. And so the first thing I want to name is that trust that yes, all of it is important. All of your potentials are important. But the key to creating them and igniting them is focusing on one and not doing it all at once. And if you feel like your wheels are spinning, that's not going to help you in this level of self-actualization. Okay? It's not about spinning your wheels. It's about creating a chain reaction, like a domino. Touch one. Okay. So mistake number 2 is that we're creating goals with our mind, with our logical mind alone. Like that's where we're coming from. And so that doesn't mean that goals from your logical mind isn't what's in season. We're going to go through the process. And maybe for what's in season for you right now is creating something really logical and practical with your mind. But let's go through the process and find out. But here's the thing, we have a self in our mind, we have a self in our body, and we're just in our mind. We don't really have access to the fullness of our creative power. And we don't really have access to listening to our bodies. We don't have access to that creative power, right? It's just in our body and we haven't touched it yet. So you can certainly make things happen with your mind, but to generate on this destiny level, we need to be in our body. The third area we get a little caught up is that we create an intention out of fear and scarcity, right? Like, oh my goodness, I don't want to be left out. Everybody I know is hosting a podcast. Everybody I know is doing some Facebook Lives. Everybody I know is starting a business. Everybody I know is writing a book, right? Oh, if I don't do those things, I'm going to be left out. What am I going to do? I'm going to be left behind. And so the problem with that is when you're centered in fear and panic and lack, we're way disconnected from our deeper creative power. We're disconnected from our deeper wisdom, and we're not listening to ourselves, and we're not able to access that power. And we're going to go through a process to really unlock those fears and lacks throughout our journey. And then the final one is, this one is really kind of controversial in spiritual communities, is that just whatever's meant to be will be. I'm just going to surrender. Whatever is meant to be will be, because I've tried to control it and I've tried panicking, and I know panicking doesn't work. And so now I'm just going to trust whatever's meant to be, whatever's going to happen in my life, thy will be done. And while, yes, surrender is necessary, I also think, if I'm speaking honestly, I think it's misunderstood, because what happens is it shows up as a form of passivity where we're just waiting, right? Where we've tried to control, and we're tired of wanting for something. We're tired of aching for it. We're tired of aching for what we want. And so we just go into this passive waiting for it to happen. And so whatever the universe wants, I'm just going to surrender. And that is like, kind of like, well, I don't know. I'm just going to get on a bus and just see where it takes me. Oh, I'm just going to go to the restaurant. Just whatever you have, just give me whatever you have. I'll eat whatever. And all of us know we're going to go into a restaurant and we order specifically what we want. It's got to be vegan. It's got to be gluten-free. It's got to be this. It's got to be that. We have criteria, right? And so when we're co-creation, it is a very active process, right? We're co-creating in partnership with the universe, with ourselves, with our deeper desires, right? It's an active process. It's not a passive. You surrender to the process once it's in motion, right? So I invite you to tune into what one of these approaches might be the most alive for you to set down, that you might need to let go of right now, that and see if you're open to having a new experience when we set our intention. Yeah, so if you're open to having a new experience, I'm really feeling it's time for us to shift and step into Qigong and to move our bodies. But I would love to hear in the chat, or if some of you would like to speak out loud, what's opening up for you before we go into the next section.
Yeah, I do feel that I have non-action for many years, and what that creates is some kind of vacancy in my energy field and in my body. and would end up just not really feeling into my own power. And it's like no matter what, the universe will create certain momentum, but if I don't have a name of my intention, then the momentum, more likely that I'm not the master of the momentum. So yeah, so I really like that you're naming it, that we taking in the feminine power, and when we feeling there's a calling, and then we step into it, and so we own it. It's like we are surfing the ocean, and it's always within our own control. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, and really you'll notice when each one of us shares, we'll all pick up and be like, yeah. And that vacancy so palpable. Mhm.
Hey everyone, I am here energetically, but I've got COVID, and so I'm just like, can barely talk. It takes
Yeah.
my shortness of breath and everything, so I'm here with you.
We're extending. Let's just extend a little love and healing, and energy to your immune system, and just what I want to say is you showed up anyway. You don't have to talk. You're just here receiving your presence. Even when you're feeling weak, your presence is powerful. Even when you're feeling down, your presence is appreciated. It almost makes me teary-eyed, and I am just loving you and blessing you. And so letting you feel that and hold that. And also that's another thing. Like we're going to spend 10 weeks together. So every time I ask a question, you don't have to have an answer, right? If it's not able to be, it's okay in that moment. And so if it's alive for you and it's being spoken through you, bring it into the circle. But if you got to think in your mind, oh, Maria's asking me something, I better say something cool, then just save it till something comes out, right? Right? And so there's always that too. So with that, is there anybody else that would like to share something now, or would we like to transition to Qigong? Okay. Well, sounds like we're going to transition to Qigong. So transitioning, and tonight we're going to do a really pretty short Qigong session. It's not going to be our primary focus because our intention is that primary focus. We're going to just open up our body, and then in our next session, we'll spend a lot more in Qigong. And so, Julie, I know you're not feeling well. Just do what you can, and really even you can just do it in your mind. Just doing it in your mind. Okay, so I invite you to find your seat. I'm going to need to turn on some music and adjust this, and this will be a fairly, like I said, a fairly short Qigong session. And our intention here, you're not going to need to see my feet, but I'm going to find my feet. I invite you to find your feet. You can stay seated if you'd like, but we've been sitting. So let's just kind of shake it up. Remember our body. We have a mind, we have a body, we have a spirit. We want to integrate with all of them. Let's pound, knock in our chest. Activate our heart, our lungs. Oh. And kind of shake. We're opening up our energetic, our chi pathways. And so go ahead and tap down the insides of your arm and up the outsides, up to your shoulder. Down the insides and up the outside. One more time. And let's go to the other arm. Down the inside, up the outside. Our intention here is to bring awareness to the sensations of our body, because we're about to go into a journey where we want to access the wisdom that's in our body. Coming back to our chest, coming back to our heart, we're accessing our heart's desire. Because, you know, the word desire and destiny have the same root word, same Latin root word, which is meaning awaiting the stars, awaiting what the stars will bring. And what that says to me is you have a destiny to activate to your fullest potential, and your desires of your heart are what will lead you there. So you can trust the desires of your heart. So bring your hands down, pound your belly. And your kidneys. Ooh, shaking it out. Down your glutes. Down the backs of your legs. Up the insides of your legs. Let's go down again. Up the inside. And just one more time. Down. And now start to let this movement gradually come to a place of stillness. And just sense and feel your body and the energy circulating in your body. And let's stretch out. Let's stretch out and free up energy from our brilliant mind. And so taking your hands as if they're down your sides and spreading out and opening up your chest. Your head is lifted, your neck is long, your fingers are spread. This is called spreading the feathers. Your hands active, your knees are bent. Your breath is in your belly. Breathing in. And on your next inhale, just lower your ear to your shoulder. And staying on that same side, roll your ear across your shoulder. Inhaling as your head rolls back. And then exhaling as your head rolls forward. Inhaling back. Exhaling forward. One more time. And then this time as you exhale, roll your chin to your chest and then roll up the other side. Staying on this side, enjoying this movement with your breath and opening up the chi channels in your arms. Expanding the energy pathways. One more time. Breathing in. And then as you breathe out, bring your chin to your chest. Slowly raise your head with your inhale and lower your arms. Sense and feel just right there. We've just generated more energy. The flow, the currency, the momentum is active in your body. So we're going to tap into the flow. And so this movement is called the flow. And really what I'm doing, I'm rocking my pelvis back and forth as my hands rise and fall. My hands are following a wave. So when my hands rise and fall with my breath, the movement is generated with my pelvis. So when my pelvis goes back, my hands go up. My pelvis comes forward, my hands float down. In the beginning, it feels mechanical, and then something shifts, becomes fluid, just like a wave. Breathing in, your hands float up, and then down. Breathing in, your belly fills with air. It makes your hands float up, your spine waves, and then they float down with your exhale. Ah. One more time. So beautiful. As your hands float down, sense and feel. And now just lower, soften your stance, like just sink just a little bit so that you're comfortable. Turn your palms toward each other. So your palms are facing the floor, your fingers are facing toward each other. This movement is called Wise Owl Turns Her Head. This is a lung movement, so be really mindful. Just go as far as your body is going. And our body goes to a different distance every day. So listen to your body. This is a very simple movement. I'm going to give you instruction, and then ultimately we'll be doing this silently. Taking as many breaths as you need to. Your fingertips are facing each other. Your eyes are open. You're an owl. You see. Okay, so when you're ready, you're going to inhale. And as you inhale, you're slowly turning, rotating your hands so that, and you're turning your head to the left and rotating your hands so that your fingers face the back wall, and then ultimately, if they can, they turn and face toward your body. So your arms are rotated, your chest is exposed, your head is turned as far as comfortable. Deep belly breathing. You see and look. Look, this is a vulnerable position to be in. You're standing here with your chest wide open. You have no armor. Yet you're completely safe. Breathing in. And now exhale, slowly release your arms. So slowly. As you return back to center, let your eyes and your fingers gradually return back to the starting place. So slowly. Your eyes are receptors of light. They both look at something and they receive something. So keeping this in mind, now let your eyes receive the space you're in as you take a nice deep breath. Rotating your arms, turning your head to the other direction. Taking in, perceiving your space with your eyes. Turning your hands, rotating them all the way so that your fingers are pointing toward your body. Opening your chest. Looking over your shoulder. And then exhaling. Returning back to center. Since we're moving so slowly, just breathe naturally. Taking as many breaths as you need to for you to return to center. Okay, one more time. Go to the left, breathing in, turning. Now you're looking through the quantum field. You're looking into the unknown. When you turn to the left, you're imagining you're looking to the past. Some of the things, some of your memories. In the quantum field, time is a little bit irrelevant, but I want you to turn and look toward the past and remember a time that you stood so vulnerable, so open, and everything was okay. That you showed up and you bared your heart and you were well received. Breathing that in and slowly turning back to center. And as you return back to center, receive your environment that you're in, this sanctuary that you're creating around yourself. Letting your hands naturally float back to center. Inhaling and exhaling. On your next inhale, inhale. Turn your head to the right, rotating your arms behind you. So slowly, taking it in, looking into the unknown, into the quantum field, into the future. Seeing yourself once again standing so open and so vulnerable. Sense and feel that you can trust this. Breathing in and then releasing. Coming slowly back to center. Receiving your environment. Receiving that little insight you just received. That wisdom. Gradually step out just a little bit wider. We're transitioning to the next movement, which I call the archer. And I'm grabbing energy. I'm going to do this one more time. Just like in the beginning, I'm going to give you a bunch of instruction. So as I grab energy, I'm now pointing my fingers. See how I'm pointing my fingers? This is a focus. So I'm going to point my fingers. I'm going to gather the energy, point my fingers. And now this finger is like an arrow. And this is a bow. And I'm going to pull back on the string. And I'm going to bring my string to my mouth. And I'm going to take this right here. And I'm going to focus my attention through my fingers and then release with your exhale. Okay, these are not weapons. These are focal points. These are things you love. So, gathering your energy, you do not have to stand in a total perfect stance like I am on the screen, but I want you to scan your room and find something down low that you love. Something down low that you chose, you appreciate, that you want to keep into your life. And now point your finger at it. Take your other hand, your right hand, grab that bow and pull back. Bring that bow to your mouth. Your eyes are focused on it. Your heart is engaged. You love it. You appreciate it. You adore it. Release it. Gratitude. Gather again. Find something in the middle of your room, the middle height that you love and appreciate, and pull back. Your eyes are fixed on it. Your heart is in love with it. Your body is appreciative, and then you release. Now find something a little higher up. And you can have to shift if you have to find something higher up that you love, which is right here for me. Okay. Find it. Pull that string back. Find what you love. Focus on it. Appreciate it. Adore it. Be intrigued by it. Be curious about it, and then release it. Beautiful. Again, go to the other side. The other hand now makes your arrow. Find something down low that you love. Find it. Point at it. Pull back on that string. See it. Adore it. Love it. Appreciate it. Extend your joy to it, and then release. Scoop, gather, find something in the middle of your room. Find it and appreciate it and pull back. Focus your attention on what you adore, what brings you pleasure, what you will commit to. Release. One more, find something up high. Find something up high that you chose, that you will continue to choose. Pull back, extend yourself, and then release. Let that go into the universe. Taking a nice deep breath, reaching up and letting your hands settle. Letting this experience feel complete. Sending your love arrows out into the world. Sending your appreciation, your adoration, your curiosity, your excitement from your heart, activating your energy body, opening, standing in vulnerability. One more breath. Yes, beautiful. I invite you to do any movement that your body wants to do for you to feel complete. We have one more very important thing that takes us a little while to do, so I ask that we find our seats so we can now tap into our setting our intention. And tonight, I'm leading you on the journey. I don't expect you to have it all written out perfectly tonight. I'm leading you on the journey for it, okay? Next week, we'll go through and really see what you received and what you're writing down. Okay. I'm gonna pause this. Okay, my loves. Having a little sip, feeling what's activating and what's moving. Okay, so we're about to set in our destiny intention. So remember, we're acting as if we absolutely believed in ourselves, and we believe in what we have to offer, and we believe that what we do in life is valuable, and we believe that we can do it, right? And so let's just take a nice deep breath, feeling that energy you just opened up in your body, shifting your awareness to the inside of your body and dropping down into your hips, down into your legs, down into the soles of your feet and into the earth. And know that it's safe here for you to drop your awareness into these places and into these desires. The only thing that you have to do is to bring your awareness to them. There's no decisions that you have to make. You're going to just sense and feel. So see yourself stepping into a center of power and feel yourself centered in your body as you're stepping into a way that you feel connected with yourself, connected with your truth, connected with your power in a way that feels confident and that you can trust the process. And imagine having the power to create relationships in your life where you feel seen and loved and supported to be the best version of yourself. And step into what feels like you feel connected to clarity about your gifts, clarity about your contributions, and about your sacred work. And feeling that connection to a power that you have that impacts others. Breathing deep and softening, feeling connected to your power to create value, where your value is received, connecting to that creative process where you're creating financial resources and wealth in your life. Connect to the feeling at home in your body, where you have nourishing self-care and self-love practices, and connecting to a higher power. When you feel really connected to your intuition, and when you feel like you have the courage it takes to step into this larger life that's calling you. And if you have children, connect into your relationship with them in a way, in a being in relationship with them that uplifts them and uplifts you. And connect to being yourself, and as you step into your relationship with your partner in a way that ignites them. And connect to that part of you that is a leader, that it empowers everyone around you, that they're uplifted and they can do the work that they're here to do. And so step into what it feels like to be a self-actualized woman right now, living from the center of your destiny, living from your center and growing outward. And so let's drop in and go even deeper and get more curious. I'm about to ask you a bunch of questions about the 8 key areas of self-actualization, and I want you to just sense and feel what's the most alive for you. And this week you can return to the learning portal. There is a handout and there's a recording so you can go through this again when you want to get even more specific. Let's just receive these and explore what comes up. So I invite you to breathe into and feel your desire that you have to feel seen. Feel that desire that you have to feel safe and to take up space and to use your voice and to be recognized and valued. Breathe into that desire and sense and feel it in your body. And ask yourself, what is it that I most deeply yearn for as it relates to being authentic, as it relates to being visible, as it relates to being seen? What do I most deeply desire in this area of visibility? And if something comes to you to write down, you can, but really I'm going to just move through this process, just letting it wash through you. Mm. I'm going to turn this music on. And as you're breathing deep, taking a moment to shake off that visibility and step into the next area of breathing into the area of love and intimacy. If you're yearning for a new partnership or to deepen your partnership with your beloved, I invite you to feel that yearnings that you have for intimacy and sensuality, to be unconditionally loved and to love unconditionally for who you are, and to be supported so that you can become the best version of yourself. And so breathing into that sense of closeness and friendship, feel into that and listen to yourself as you're feeling this desire for love. And ask yourself, what do I most deeply yearn for in the area of love and partnership in my life? Breathing in, sensing and feeling. And now shifting into the next area, feeling that desire to connect with your unique purpose, with your gifts, with your genius, with your sacred work. So I invite you to breathe into and sense and feel your heart's deepest desires for what you want to contribute with your talents for others, for ways you want to make a difference in the world. And sense and feel what's opening up for you here. And ask yourself, what do I most deeply yearn for when I express my gifts and genius in the world? What do I most deeply yearn for in my sacred work? Breathing and feeling, trusting what's coming to you. Now shifting into the next area. We're breathing now into the area of livelihood and prosperity. Feeling into the area of possibility, of thriving livelihood, of making a living in a way that is aligned with your values, where you have the financial resources to thrive and to contribute and to be generous. And breathing into that yearning in your life, that possibility feeling in the yearning of financial resources, and feel yourself receive it. And ask yourself, what do I yearn for around my own financial prosperity and my financial freedom? Receiving that financial freedom and prosperity, that wisdom of your body. Taking a deep breath and shifting again. And now breathing into the desires that you have for creativity, for fun, for things that light you up, for things that you've always wanted to do, something you've always wanted to create. Feeling into that project, maybe that trip or that experience, the way you want to decorate your home or your office, or the way you want to dress, or the art you want to make. Breathing into that creative center, right into the center of it. And asking yourself, what do I yearn for in my area of creativity and self-expression? What wants to be expressed through me? Sensing and feeling what wants to be expressed through you. Breathing and shifting again. We're shifting now into the area of health and feeling the possibility of vibrant physical health, of vitality and nourishing and restorative self-care and self-love practices that are life-affirming, where you feel comfortable and at home in your body and in your skin, feeling healthy and alive. And sense into those yearnings that you have to be living in this potential, in this fullness of your body, of your vibrancy. Listening to this and breathing into the center of your body. And asking yourself, what do I most deeply yearn to experience in my body? Beautiful. Breathing and shifting now. Let's come into the area of your spiritual life. Feeling the possibility of an unwavering connection to a higher power. To living with consciousness and grace and love. Living an active spiritual life. Feeling the yearnings that you have to experience and expand yourself beyond your own separate self, and to experience liberated consciousness, and to feel deeply connected to a part of everything that is. Sensing and experiencing a higher consciousness, higher intelligence. Ask yourself, what is it that I'm yearning for in my spiritual life? What is activating within me spiritually? Expanding and sensing and feeling what's activating within you. Beautiful. And finally, now shifting into the area of influence and impact, and feeling the possibilities of how you impact others, and how you empower others and uplift others. Sensing and feeling who that might be. That might be your family, it might be friends, it might be your community, your colleagues, your coworkers, your clients, your students. Feel the possibility of having an impact on others with your life and your life energy. And it might not just be people, it might be animals and plants and trees and gardens and ecosystems. How is your energy impacting life? And as you sense into this, ask yourself, what do I desire to contribute to others and make a difference? Sensing all these desires that are activating within you through all these areas, these deeper desires. Just simply notice which ones seem the most alive, which ones seem to have the most energy, that pinged you, that made you tingle, that made you feel vulnerable, that made you open. Which ones were the strongest ones? Where did you feel numb? Where did you not even notice them? Where did you look away? Really sensing and asking yourself, your heart, asking your heart, asking your womb, asking your hands and your feet, asking your breast, asking you, all of you, what do I desire? In that area that seemed the most alive, what is the potential for this in my life?
You're broken down, now you're tired
Yeah,
of living
yeah. Yeah, so here we're deepening into that. And so that's a perfect little shift for us to we're with this energy. If there's anything that you want to journal and write down, because that area that seemed the most alive, that seemed the most tingly, that's the area that we want to just almost like say X marks the spot, right? That's the one that we're going to throughout our journey, we're going to put our focus on. And that's going to be the one that lights your chain reaction. And honestly, if you had a few of them, that's okay. That's really normal. And so this next week, the invitation is to go through your handout and listen to the recording and process this again. And before we share what we receive, there's one more little step, because one thing, yes, we're looking for what's the most alive, but we're also looking at the place of our biggest gaps, right? The place that is the gap between, what I mean by that is the things we say, like the things that we say we value, the things we say we are, the things we say we care about, but how life is actually showing up. There might be a gap there, right? And those are often the places that have pain and resignation. And so we look away because we don't feel like it's possible for us, right? So we have this chronic pattern of avoiding it. And we might feel powerless in those areas. So we disconnect from them. So we're sensing and feeling what's really alive. And then we're also sensing and feeling where there was that pain or that vulnerability or that numbness, right? And we want to bridge the gap between those two places. And so I'm inviting you, like, we're in this safe container. And so I want to turn toward that vulnerable place in our life, right? With self-empathy and compassion. And we want to bring awareness to them, and we want to touch them just so gently. We want to touch them with love because, we've been disconnected to them because there's been a reason. But there's a chance that if we can sense into it and just explore it, there's a chance that there's a lot of energy held there. And if we can harness this energy, that is how we really catalyze this exponential leap, right? And so, like, here we are. Imagine, like, if we were in the same room together and we wanted to share something, we'd get just like a little closer. We'd bring our chairs just a little closer in, right, to create a little bit more like safety and intimacy so that we can feel that we can really extend love and kindness to ourselves, and that we can bring awareness to that area of our life where it feels like there's the biggest gap, right? And so feeling like that biggest gap between what you care about and what you value, what's important to you, and then sending your love and empathy there with your breath. And just get a sense of how much energy is stuck there. Is there anything stuck there? Is there anything blocked there? Just getting curious. Is there any suffering there? Is there creative energy that we just can't access because it's been blocked or numbed or avoided or put away or shoved aside? And so turning toward that place with love and compassion. Yeah, and notice that you might not have been facing it before, but you can face it now. That you can give it love and you can bless it. And up until now, you've been avoiding it for a good reason. And just accept that and love that and forgive that if you need to, but know that that's okay. And now, as you like gently turn toward this gap, and you're gently loving turning toward this gap, and you're standing in your power, and you're standing in your truth, and you're standing in your love. And so what you're doing is you're growing bigger than that area. You're growing bigger than that area than you've been disconnected from. Because see, now you're bigger than it. Rather than it blocking you, you're bigger than it. You can hold it. You can extend your love and empathy toward it, feeling your energetic support toward that block, and then also feeling this energetic support from all of us that's bigger than it, right? And so now, with your breath, coming back to your commitment of growth, your commitment to expansion, your commitment to step out of the shadows, out of those limiting beliefs, and into this transformational area of your life, into the area that you want to manifest. That area that you want to manifest is bigger than this gap here, right? And so now you have the power, you have the strength, you have the love, the capacity, all the resources to transform it. So we just did a Qigong movement. So imagine yourself as an archer. You are holding a bow and arrow. And imagine that you're also the arrow, that you're being held, right? Pretty meta here. So you're an archer, you're holding the bow and arrow, and you're the arrow, and feel yourself as the arrow being pulled back. And then when you're ready, When you're ready, you're going to release and you're going to propel that arrow forward. And it's going forward and it's going into the future, into at least 9 weeks from now, so that you are on the other side of this process, right? And you have set a destiny intention and now it's in motion. You sense and feel what's alive for you. You sense and feel your biggest gap. You sense and feel your deepest yearning. And now you put it into motion and it's outside, it's into the future. And so now here you are, you're standing and you're stepping into it, and you can see that it has been transformed into the future. And now I want you to imagine that you can stand into that and you can feel that it's on the other side. You've gone through the process. There's a way out, just like in birth, there's a way out. You go through the process and it's on the other side now, and you have the confidence and you're having that love that you were experiencing, and you've unlocked your limits to prosperity, and you've unlocked these blocks to your creativity, and you've deepened into your intimacy, and you've deepened into your connections, and you're feeling safe, and you're on the other side, you've birthed through, and that you're now on this pathway of growth, right? And you're creating this future. Right? And so there you are, you have now propelled it into the future. And so together we simply say yes. Yes, and thank you. And so it is, and so it shall be. Right? And so you are the archer, you are the arrow. That gap, you're bigger than that gap, and you can propel it and you can go through the portal. And you have all the resources to go through this process, to transform yourself and to ignite your potentials. Can you sense and feel the power that we're working with here? It's kind of big. It's really big. It's really big, and it's beautiful, and it's real, and it's alive, and it's been activated, and you have put it out from your heart, from your body, from your mind into the potential quantum field, right? And so this is really powerful. And so we're stepping into, this is what feminine power is, right? We're stepping into what it feels like to live your higher destinies and your possibilities. And we're wrapping up, but I want you to know that this absolutely matters. It absolutely matters, not just for your own fulfillment, for your own destiny, but remember, this is for the ones you touch and the ones you love. Those that think we shouldn't make ripples in the world, they didn't make an impact. We are making ourselves and our presence known, right? And we're doing this for ourselves. We're doing this for the others in our lives, for our friends, for our family, for our communities, for our clients, right? This is who, none of those people can be themselves without you. And so we're saying yes. We're saying yes to our destiny. We're saying yes to those who love you. We're saying yes to those other people that are in our larger world. We're saying yes to the cosmos, yes to the plants, to the animals. We're saying yes to life, right? Whew. So I have been talking quite a bit. I am so ready to pause. I know there might not be some talking from some of you, but I would love to receive you. And I just want you to know that I believe in you and that I'm standing with you and that I love you. And I'm excited for this journey to be with you. And so I would love to hear and receive what's activating and opening up in you, and to debrief this process. Mm. Whew. Mm. It's like I feel, even though I've been talking, I feel a little speechless, like, oh, letting it settle in.
I would love to share. I just don't know where to begin. I feel like just open these doors and I have like, there's so much to process. I cried, I laughed, I've written notes, like it's gonna, you've given me some work and it feels so good. So many, it just feels so good. I don't even know where to start or where to end. Just really lovely, really lovely. Thank you.
Mm, mm, mm. Yeah. Oh, I can feel that. I can feel you feel that. Mm, mm. Yeah, this is activation, right? This is activation right now. This activation ceremony. And then from here, we'll start to like anchor it in. We can't anchor it in right now. We've just been opened up. Feel this open, feel this expansion. Let whatever percolate come through. We'll have plenty of time to like take actionable steps. Believe me, we'll do that too.
It's so rich and delicious. Thank you, Maria.
Mm.
I'm taken completely to another realm. I think I passed out at some point in time, but I remember before that, I was, yeah, I lost my glasses even. It took me a while to find. But I just remember there was a point I was feeling that I throughout life and big chunk of my life I was pursuing like the perfect partner, and then I realized the power or the strength, the goodness I see in other is the same that in me. So I could just feel that energy. I can just marry that energy myself. So I was just feeling that contentment, the unionship within was, I was like, wow, I must be so powerful that I can see all the goodness in others. So I just allow that goodness to marinate in me and just in love with myself.
Mm. Wow, beaming you there in love with yourself. Yes. Yeah, looking for the perfect partner.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of time we see so good in others, but they don't even see themselves, which means that I must be the one that I'm able to sensing that. If I'm able to sensing that, I already have that in me.
Right. I love how you just said that. That was really, actually, really beautiful what you just said. If I can see something so beautiful in someone else, I must have that within me.
Yeah. So I don't even need to chase outside of myself.
Right. Right. Beautiful. Because truly our beloved is within, and then we can mirror and meet a partner. We're not looking for our other half. We're whole. And
Yes,
then we're going to be whole within another, right? If we choose to be in partnership with someone.
that's true. Because when we are whole, we're holding that resonance, that harmony, and we vibrate whatever we do, just even not doing, we're still beaming that wholeness. And then the universe, we become this big magnet, and the universe will send the perfect vibrational match to us. So we don't really need to go outward. What we need, just feeling inward.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you for your sharing and your wisdom. Mm,
You.
mm.
Mm.
I cried too at one point, Danny, and I don't know where. I wish that I would have taken some notes. But maybe when I record it back, or when I play the recording back, I'll know when. But when we were doing the Qigong, like it's such a vulnerable practice, and it makes you realize like how important it is to let yourself just be vulnerable. Like that's the realization I was having.
Mm. And I think it was through a Qigong conversation that we had. I don't know if you were in that group, Taylor. I don't know if any of you were in that group, but we just recently had this conversation in Qigong that was so important. You're touching it, so I'd like to speak to it. It was another sister shared. One sister shared and another sister shared wisdom. And the wisdom was about, sometimes we want to protect ourselves. We feel so empathetic. We feel so much energy and we're like, woo, too much. And so we put our shields up. The challenge with putting our shields up is that we block ourselves in, right? And so versus finding our center. When we're in our center, and we are rooted in our center and our authentic self, what happens is then we can then become responsive to things, and then we can shift and move around things rather than just reacting and needing to block ourselves. And so when you're in your center, you really can set down some of those shields. You really can set down some of those weapons because you don't really need them when you're in your center, because those shields and those weapons oftentimes are heavy and they're dangerous. They hurt yourself. Most of the time, they hurt you more so than hurting somebody else. All those layers of protection. So being able to stand in that vulnerable place, even though it is so vulnerable to be in, that's incredibly powerful, especially when you're in your center. Now, standing in that vulnerable place when you've gone too far, like you didn't listen to your body, your mind said you could go, and you turned your head too far or you turned your chest too far, then you can actually hurt yourself, right? And so it's always being in your center and moving from your center outward, just like growth, from your center outward. Then, so thank you for bringing that. Thank you for bringing that in. Is there anything else you wanted to?
No, it's so true. Like when you are not vulnerable, like you only hurt yourself. Like your body is just so tense. It's just that really resonates with me.
You also said something just kind of a little practical here. When you go into the learning portal, two of you need to create learning portals, and that's you, Taylor, and Julie. I'll send you a link to it. The rest of you have access to the learning portal, but when you go there, you're going to see the recording for tonight. And then you'll also see an audio recording of the activation ceremony. And it's like this, just a little longer, but without your input, right? So there's moments that you can listen to the activation again and pause it and then write and then listen and pause it and write. And it's just an audio. So I just want you to know that resource is available. And also in the handouts, when you go through it, you'll see a PDF handout and it has all the questions. So then you're like, what was the question? And you see all the questions that I asked you. So if you want to go through it again, and I hope that you do, so that we can really refine this, so that we can go through this with like specificity to the best of our ability. And understanding it's a evolving, open, magical process. Hmm. 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 Julie, I know you're not able to talk very much. I just want you to know if you need to type something in or if there's anything. I just want to open it up if you're able, or just meet you where you are.
Yeah, I've written quite a few things down, but I'm so short of breath right now. I don't feel like.
Okay.
But thank you. Yeah.
Okay. So So let's stitch out. If there's anything else anybody else would like to mention, perfect time. If not, this is why we have our WhatsApp group. When things pop up, there will be things that pop up, and if you want to be held in them or you had an aha moment, just put it in there. Oh, Daisy sharing. Is that a tiger?
Yeah, that's our golden tiger inside us. The color doesn't really show, but I put a lot of yellow color.
In a couple of days in Qigong, we're going to be celebrating the new year. It's the
Yeah.
Chinese New Year, and it's the year of the tiger. So I've
Yeah.
been asking everybody, like, what's your sign? I don't really know what I'm going to do with everybody's sign, but I see we got a lot of earth signs. And anyway, so it'll be curious to see. And we're going to definitely honor the tiger and do a new moon practice here in a couple days to honor that experience. Mm. So let me reorient. If we're about to stitch out, let's stitch out. And if there's what we're going to do when we stitch out is we say what we received. So we when we came in, we mentioned what we're bringing into this circle. And so now when we stitch out and blow our candles out, we're going to acknowledge what you receive from this circle, and know that we already talked about the portal. You'll get an email with all that stuff, but know that this conversation can continue in that WhatsApp group. Okay. So, and when we stitch out, I'll ring the bell. So, Julie, I received inspiration. Thank you, Julie.
I received light and companionship.
Light and companionship.
I received warmth.
Warmth.
I received self-empowerment, inner magnificence, and golden light.
Self-empowerment, inner magnificence, and golden light. What did I receive? Oh, well, I received joy and a smile and light, that light, like luminous, but also light, like not heavy. And so know that we blow out our candles and we're closing our session, but our circle is still holding us, right? So I'm going to ring that out one more time. And I want to bow to each of you, saying thank you. I'm going to turn on some music that you had the prelude to. It's called Rise, because it's our time to rise. If you remember, that was how I started our session with "It's our time to rise." So, and you're invited to listen to the music and dance it out and stretch it out. Yeah, and take in your time. It's a gorgeous song.
We gon' walk it out and mountains. And I'll rise like the day
Mm.
rise unafraid, I rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. And I rise up,
Mm.
like the waves, I rise up, in spite of the ache, I rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again.
Mm.
The silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying,
Mm.
but I promise we'll take the world to its feet. Mountains, bring it to its feet. Mountains, and I'll rise up. I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up. I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up.
Mm.
And I'll do it 1,000 times again. All we need is hope, and for that we have each other, and for that we have each other, and we will rise, we will rise, we'll rise, we'll rise. I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I will rise 1,000 times again. And we'll rise up, I like the waves. We'll rise up, in spite of the ache. We'll rise up, and we'll do it 1,000 times again.
Mm. 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 Pause. Back to the beginning. Let's start over. uh, uh, mm. Well, my loves, thank you. That was so much fun. And so our next session will be a little bit different in that I want to honor Qigong a little bit more. And so our next session, I'll give you some practicalities about Qigong, but then we're going to spend some time really moving our body so we can really activate these energy pathways, so we can really get familiar with touching the invisible realms and pulling it in, so we can really kind of strengthen that practice and moving it through our bodies. We're going to do that. And then also we're going to be really Qigong focused next one. And then we're going to go into ways that we're going to start to activate are shifting our awareness and learning about how to put ourselves in multiple places of awareness. So I'm just kind of telling you where we're going in general. And so really bringing awareness, mindfulness practices in, and it'll all be in relation to your area that you're focusing on. And then we're going to go into the power centers. So after you have some skills, you have some confidence, you freed up some energy, you've kind of loosened up some stuff, then we'll go into the power centers. Power center 1, we'll start to connect with a lot of areas about ourself, our limiting beliefs about ourselves. We're going to spend 2 weeks there. And then we're going to go into connecting again with the quantum field. And the quantum field is going to be more about connecting with time and bending time and how we manifest with different ways of manifesting. And yeah, so we're going to spend time there, 2 weeks there. Time outside of time, definitely outside of time, and then we'll even back in. And then we're going to go into connecting with others, who others are, who we perceive them to be, and our challenges with people. You know, we have all these great intentions. We're so enlightened, and then we come in contact with someone. And we're like, whoa. And so then we got to figure that out. So we're going to work with that. And that's our journey that we're going on. And then we'll have a final, just like how we had this active opening, we're going to have a celebration as we close it. So that's the landscape, the journey that we're going to go on throughout the sessions. Okay. Is there anything that anybody feels like they would like to weave in before we call it a night? If everyone's starting to feel complete? Okay. So you'll get an email tomorrow with information about your learning portal, and let's be in touch, and I'll see you next week. Okay. Each one of you are so beautiful. And you also know you have access. Okay, that's one thing. I don't know which one, if you're going to show up. If Qigong is an option, you get to add it too. And so with you, Danny, it's kind of a question. Do you want me to send you an email in the beginning of the Mondays and the Tuesdays, or is there one that's kind of more your favorite?
I think I'll be able to do the Tuesday evening one, right? I'm sorry, Monday evening, because Tuesday
Yes.
morning's probably not going to work. So let's shoot for Monday evening. Thank you.
Perfect. Perfect. And then I think for you, Taylor, you're thinking Tuesday morning, if it works out. I just don't want to bombard you with emails that if you don't need them. You know what I'm saying?
Tuesday is I've cleared it with my manager, so.
Awesome. Okay, cool. You're already creating frameworks and practices to make this work. Nice. Celebrate. Celebrate. And Julie and Daisy, they're already plugged in. So they're already set. And so perfect. Perfect.
I just want to share a quote from Rumi.
Okay.
I tapped in the chat. You are the root of heaven, the morning star, the bright moon, the house of endless love.
Thank you. So with that, my loves, let's call this good. Let's call this blessed. Let's call this complete. And we'll see each other in Qigong and next week. And we're in the field together. Okay. And Julie, I hope you feel better. Oh. Okay. Sending you love and healing. All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night.